3 mistakes you're making when your kid comes up to you and says, hey, I feel really anxious about a test. So over the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna walk you through the strategy that I use with my kids. So I have an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old, and my 11-year-old often feels anxious about her test. So this is exactly what I do with her to help her calm down and focus so that she can get a better grade and that she doesn't have so much anxiety around school and school work. In case we haven't met, I'm Heather Emerson Smith. I'm the founder of WTF Positive Parenting, and I teach parents of elementary and middle schoolers how to teach their kids how to have a really strong mental health and stress coping strategy so that they can do really well in school, whether it's dealing with tests or dealing with friend dynamics or even just dealing with anxiety around going to school. I have all that covered because I have 2 kids. One's 11 who struggles with feelings of anxiety and one who's 6 who has been officially diagnosed with ADHD. So I know because I've been there and I've dealt with a lot of the school frustrations and push and pull. So now I'm teaching parents, here's how you can really help set up your student for really great success and teach them really great mental health and stress coping strategies for when they're at school. So let's talk about what we do when our kid comes to us and says they're feeling anxious about a test. So I know the first feeling that we have is to be dismissive, right? And say, no, why? You're gonna do great. That sounds like it's the right thing to say because we're encouraging, right? But what that's doing is that's dismissing the anxious feelings that they're having. Now all of a sudden you're saying, no. And this feeling that they have inside their chest, it doesn't go away. They still feel that, but now you're saying, no, ignore it. And it seems like that would help, right? But it doesn't, because what it's telling kids is that this is not a good, well, of course it's not a good feeling, but this is not a feeling you can have or you should have. But it is, it's a feeling we do have. And so the first thing I do with my daughter when she says, I'm feeling really anxious and feeling really nervous about this test is I say, okay, let's calm down, let's do maybe a little bit of movement, or let me give you a really big, nice, long hug, and let me hear you. And so I just listen to her, say, oh, okay, you're feeling really nervous about this test. What about it is making you feel nervous? And I just listen. And this is not the time for me to come up with strategies or correct her or try to dismiss and say, no, you're going to be fine. It's just time for me to listen and then reflect back what she's saying. So she's saying, oh, it's this big history test and there's so much to cover and I don't know what to study. And I'm going, I hear you. It sounds like you're really nervous about this test because there's a lot going on here. Yeah. And that's the first thing I do. And I wait until I see her body shift and relax. And in the meantime, I'm breathing a little slower. I'm talking calm with my words. I'm helping her emotionally co-regulate, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is once they're calm, that's when I ask them what they've done so far. So normally I say something like, okay, well, what have you done so far? And then I wait back for the answer. Do you feel like you've studied enough? Do you feel like you know what's going on? And then I ask, is there anything I can help you with? Can I help you review? Can I help you write flashcards so that, we can study together? And I check in with her. And I say, how can I support you? Again, it's not me going in and saying, let me fix this, let me do this for you. It's I want to check in with her and I want her to start to come up with some of the solutions. I might give a couple of suggestions, but I'm gonna really let her be this is what I need. This is how I need to be supported right now. And sometimes I simply ask, do you just need me to listen this whole time? Or do you want more support? And that's a really powerful thing for her to hear, right? Because it's not, okay, mom's gonna come save you. It's, okay, I hear you. That's normal to feel anxious. Now, how can I support you? Right? And it's really powerful for kids because it's teaching them, okay, 1, anxiety happens. It's a normal human emotion. It means we care about something. And now next, how can, mom's here to support you. Mom's here to support you, but not do it for you. Right? And which is really powerful for kids. And so the final thing that I do is after the test, so the next day, That's the fourth thing I do. The third thing I do is I make sure that my daughter does some of her stress coping strategies. So over time, I've taught her a lot of different stress coping strategies. The main one she uses for tests is EFT tapping. So if you haven't heard of EFT tapping, definitely Google it. There's a ton of resources on it. It's a scientifically proven method that helps anxiety, but really quick and easy version is I tell her it's her karate chop point, and I teach her to tap it. And I say, okay, think of what you want to say while you're tapping before your test. Take a deep breath, start tapping, and say, even if I don't get a good grade, I know I've done my best. Or something like, I can show up and do the best that I can on this test, and that's all I can do. Or, I'm ready for this test, I've done the best I can, and I will do the best I can on this test. Something fairly simple like that. And those are just quick off the cuff examples, but you get the idea of we're doing an affirmation, we're doing a tapping that goes along with it. And what this does is tapping takes us out of our head and out of our anxiety and really pulls us down into here and reminds us that it's all gonna be okay. We're here in our body, we're here now, all we can do is our best, right? And so that's what I do. Those are the three things that I do with my daughter. Now, as I was like way getting ahead of myself. But as I was seeing, I do often check in with her after it's all done. I check in and I say, okay, how did the test go? Was it harder than you thought? Was it easier than you thought? What do you think you could do better next time? And sometimes she's willing to answer and she's all about it. And sometimes, nope, nothing. And it's okay if she doesn't respond. It's okay if she doesn't have an answer. She doesn't want to answer. What I'm trying to do is get her to start to think about that for the future, right? She's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, no big deal. But it's that those questions start to linger in her head the next time and the next time and the next time. So that's what I do with my daughter when she's feeling really anxious about a test. If you'd like more stress coping strategies or more strategies that I use with my kids to help them in school and really to help them in everyday life, to manage their stress, to co-regulate, to feel calm and regulated whenever they feel big emotions, drop a comment below. I have a free workbook that's stress coping strategies for kids. I would love to send it your way.